But I believe that by overwhelming majority, you and I, in the long run, and if it be necessary, you and I will act together to protect, to defend, by every means at our command.
Hello and welcome. Normally, guys, you were expecting some big lovely intro with some music, but this one's going to be different. I'm going to be reading out. I'm just going to be me in the camera. I want to progress a video that I've not long done, the spell etymology on celestial, because it's hit a nerve, it hits something in me, and I'm excited, even though some might see the topic as being a bit grave. You know me, guys, I just get so excited when I think I'm onto something in regard to my path journey, looking at content, looking at topics others have talked about, and just putting my twist on it. So if anyone has just joined me, basically, or just subbed, or just peering onto the channel for the first time, you voyeuring, being a voyeur. Anyway, so yeah, I did a video not long ago, about a week ago, a few days, and it was a spell etymology video. Now, if you're wondering what spell etymology is, it's just my take on etymology. We live in a world of magic and spells, and I love to break down these words in my own unique way to see if I can reveal anything hidden. It's not to be taken as fact, but I always find some gems, and it helps me in my research. So I just did a video on celestial, and I wasn't prepared to find what I did. Basically, as we know, celestial, they say, and if you want to check the video out, I didn't want to put it in here again and then you carry on. Please check it out. It's just the last video I did. So celestial means belonging to heaven, or divine, or outside of the world. And obviously you have things like celestial bodies, what's known as the planets, and people get triggered at that in certain communities. Remember, everything is a spell, everything is magic. So when you're getting triggered, the spell is having an effect. Something is telling you to be emotional, have a triggered response. But you don't have to be angry about it, you just have to inquire, why is this getting me so triggered? And we all have it, even myself. You get triggered over certain words and certain situations. You have to take a step back and go, wow, why is my, whatever, your intuition, your body, your soul is having a response. So always look at those certain words, or whatever topic is having you do that. So in this video, I basically got celestial. So obviously celestial, C-E-L-E-S-T-I-A-L. And I split it into three. I had cell, C-E-L. I had E-S-T-I and A-L, which can become E-L, which is something godly, divine, Elohim, an angel, planet, because they're part of the celestial bodies. Anything in heaven. And we know the heaven is in a firmament. And through whatever thing that you believe this to be, a realm, flat, concave, convex, hollow earth, whatever, donuts, should have said that. So whatever takes your key, what I'm going to show you in this video is that you were all right, you're all wrong. What if we're actually in a chamber? And that's what basically the etymology, the spell of the word revealed. It revealed a cell, which is like a prison. Again, are we in prison or paradise? It's talking of basically a chamber. So a chamber, underground temple, salt mine. You can see many of them. People talk about mud flood a lot and how different levels have been covered over. I did a video a long time ago called Tempus Fugit, and if I remember I will put it into this description, and please watch it. It's basically showing that an ancient symbol used before, the Masons used before the compass and square, was Tempus Fugit, time flies, and you'll see it, it's an hourglass with wings. And I theorised then, I think it's a year or two old, maybe a bit longer, I just don't know, and basically that we are in the middle in an enclosed system, and the layers just keep getting put on top after a reset. And it seems funny that now, years later, I did a spell etymology revealing that not only are we in an underground chamber, that it of the host, or the stars, because that's what ST means. It means star or host, and L is EL. So we in an underground burial chamber. Now when you start to think of the stars and you start to think of the heavens, it puts a whole different spin on it. And I'm going to show you a few pieces that I've just screen recorded for you that talk about this. I mean, the ones that we're talking about will be Athanasius Kirch's theory on hollow earth, and listen to his description when I will read it out. Mind blow. It's basically what we're talking about in the etymology of celestial. And then you have Enoch, and it's a long time since I've read Enoch and listened to the audio books. Again, listen to the little bit that I read out, and I'll come back after that and have another chat. This one's going to be a bit different than usual. I'm going to mix it up between me chatting, me reading stuff out. I just want to put something out on you guys. But this is a wow. Daunting. It shocked, it scared me, it's hit home that all these theories and what we're talking about could be all bollocks, and we could actually be in a hell on earth as such, purgatory, different zones if they made it, so we've got all this to talk about. Hopefully you're still with us and smiling and happy. We have to learn shit with a smile and laugh and intriguing and excitement. Or do we? Is that part of the trap? Who knows? But I ain't letting the bastards grind me down. I'm gonna bite my teeth, and we're in a battle. So hopefully guys you will enjoy it. I'm just gonna be backward and forwards. Let's see what you make of this video. Right, so now coming up is those reading bits. So this is a little short bit on the Mundus Subterraneus, and I want to put you to Kirch's theory here because it's talking about what we're talking about today. All these other subjects notwithstanding, it was Kirch's theory about the interior of the earth that captured, or at least deserved, the most attention. As he explained, the whole earth is not solid but everywhere gaping and hollowed with empty rooms and spaces and hidden burrows. So we have earth is a solid but everywhere gaping and hollowed with empty rooms and spaces and hidden burrows. So instead of picturing this realm being hollow, what if, and this is a huge if, we are in those hidden rooms, we're in those spaces and burrows? Makes you think, doesn't it? Because obviously the description from Celestials talking about we're in chambers, and the theory of hollow earth has always gone against people who believe it in flat. But what if you are in a flat realm in a hollowed room? Is it both sides, convex, the black sun, all that what people believe in? I've been telling you for years, what if you are all right and it's just a scenario around you that has changed? Think about it. It talks about a hidden hollow earth, and people naturally think of below you is hollow. But what is if you are in basically the room at the inn? There's always a room at the inn, and just picture whatever shape is around us, who knows? But what if inside you have different chambers, all connected? Everyone's theories talk about how this realm is full of secret hidden tunnels, connecting continents. They're just hallways. You're in a house, so you could call it God's house, whatever you want to call it. Hell on earth. It's all how we perceive things, and I'm perceiving us being inside. Remember, from 12, I told us we were underground. I should just carried on doing that, but you just don't think, we just progress. So that is just what blew me away about his theory. Earth is a solid, but everywhere is gaping and hollowed with empty rooms. Those empty chambers. And yes, there could be other rooms underneath. Nordic tradition calls it the 9 realms. Always been there, and I'm just interpreting this way. So I just thought that was fascinating, that we was just talking about that. And look at the first thing he says: we are in Earth is not solid, but everywhere is gaping. That is just intriguing to me. Deep down, it holds many great oceans and fires, interconnecting by a system of passageways that reach all the way to its core. In his view, volcanoes, however awful and awe-inspiring, are nothing but the ventholes or breathe pipes of nature, and earthquakes are merely the proper effects of subterrestrial combustion that are sure to go on constantly. The prodigious volcanoes and fire-vomiting mountains visible in the external surface of the earth do sufficiently demonstrate to be the full, invisible and underground fires. So this was just a little bit that I wanted to get you on, because he talks about his theory about the earth not being solid, everywhere gaping and hollowed with empty rooms and spaces, chambers. So as I was talking about in the celestial video, the breakdown, we are living in an underground chamber. But he just goes on to call it empty rooms and spaces, like a house. You have many rooms, if you're lucky, and many bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens. So we're living in an underground chamber with many empty rooms. Is there different realms to different rooms? That's something to think about, surely. Because when you then go on to look into Enoch and read some of his things, it's started to be intriguing. I'll head over to a site now and read a little bit out about Enoch. So as you know, Enoch 17 to 19 describes Enoch's first journey through the heavens. In his first vision, there are a number of scenes which depict an ancient world view which graphically imagines how the orderly universe is maintained. He sees the high places and storehouses, which is, as you know, part of the etymology for chambers. And your cellar, remember, I read them out. The cellar talks about all this. So as we carry on, he sees high places, storehouses of the earth where the rains and the snows are kept. In chapter 18, he sees the storehouses of the wind, the cornerstones of the earth and the pillars of heaven. He also sees a dark pit with a heavenly fire. Now it got me thinking, is that heavenly fire what we call the sun? Described as a desolate and terrible place. The angel who accompanies Enoch explains a dark pit as a place where the stars and the powers of heaven are imprisoned because they fail to arrive punctually. Celestial breaks down to, as you remember, prison or a cell or chambers, underground temples, salt mines, but also Esti from celestial talks about the hosts, stars, and obviously AL is EL, something divine, heavenly. Enoch is talking about the angel is telling him that the dark pit is a place where the stars and the powers of heaven are imprisoned. Gets you there, doesn't it? And then you obviously get to remember that bit in, is it Revelation? Now I'll just get off my phone because yes, I am that professional. not. So if you remember from Revelation 8:10-11, then the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water because it was made bitter. So isn't this not talking about the same thing? Basically, we're living in a chamber. So powers at heaven imprisoned there failed to arrive punctually. They are imprisoned until the year of mystery. So obviously that just talks about imprisoned stars. And obviously at the original etymology video that I've done, celestial, talks about chamber, obviously from stars. And if you read this little bit from Revelation 12:4-6, it talks about his tail swept down a third of the stars of heaven and cast them to earth, and the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she bore her child he might devour it. She gave birth to a male child, one who is to rule all nations with a rod of iron, but her child was caught up in God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, in which she is to be nourished for X amount of days. Now, what intrigued me is, again, a third, we've all seen it, a third of the stars fell. So, a third, which leaves, roughly speaking, it's not precise, 666. So 666. Which obviously is the sign of man. People used to say it's a beast, but obviously it's man according to science, 6 neutrons and etc. All that I've talked about before. So what intrigued me about this, and this talking of a third of the stars, which leaves the 666. I've done a video on Mount Meru being us and 666, the centre of the world. But a lot of people in certain communities use a sign language image, which I'll put on the screen now, for Earth, showing proof that it is a flat Earth because it's enclosed. But look, yes, it is showing you an enclosed realm. I've just told you through this research that we are in a chamber. So that is showing you the same thing as what they're saying as a flat Earth. It's actually showing you we are in a chamber. But look at the hands that it makes. The hands, the symbols, the signs, or the fingers, look, is 666. That cannot be a coincidence that this realm is made up of the 666, which is man, and obviously the third of basically the angels. I'm getting tongue-tied there. So this just blew me away that people are using, I think it might be a American Sign Language, I'm not sure, because there's other symbols for the Earth. But yes, you're right, it's showing you a flat base in an enclosed system. Or could it be showing you an enclosed system because it's in a chamber, broken down from celestial, and a third of the stars, which we talk about being imprisoned and fell, leaving 666, which the sign language for Earth is, yes, an enclosed system, but we look at the fingers, they are making 666. Surely there's something in that, or I'm just losing it. What's interesting about that, guys, is the fact that when in the Revelation quote that and the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth. Now, that intrigues me because at this time, they say, I have to say that the Polaris, which we're talking about stars falling, the North Star at this time in antiquity, I believe, was Thuban. Now, if you know Thuban is in, yes, the Draco constellation, the dragon, the serpent. So, did Thuban fell? Or is it talking about the devil? Who knows? But what intrigues me about this is because it's talking about a dragon standing before, and at that time, possibly, because I can't prove it, it's just what so-called science says, the North Star, the most important star, was the Draco constellation at that time. And it talks about a dragon falling. And what's intriguing is she's then talking about to bore him a child. Bore, that's drilling. You know, they even have the deepest drill in the world, I think, is it the Kohler bore drill? It went X 7.2 miles down and it hit something hard. Again, sounding like we're in a chamber. But also bore means, Paul, you're boring me. But also bore means wave. Is it a frequency wave? Is it a water wave? Is this what bore him down? Was he expelled, or she, or it? Like we've seen in Revelation and on other things, talking about how they were cast out, the stars were cast out, they were fell. Did Thuban fall? Just intriguing, isn't it? And then when we're talking about obviously the stars, and it was Thuban and that was a dragon, there was too much. I had to include this, guys, just to show you that so many things could align. Yes, they all could be metaphorically and just some way of people getting their message out, but you never know, and everyone else seems to be doing it, so why not me? Right, guys? One manuscript has a myriad of years, Charles has 10,000 years. In chapter 19, the angel, now identified as Uriel or Uriel, explains that the dark pit as a place where the angels were who defiled themselves with the women will be placed. Right, guys, so we just have that little bit of mentioning in Enoch then, when it talks about how obviously the angels identified by Uriel explains the dark pit, and the place with the angels who defiled themselves with women will be placed. So when you place something, defile, or you were placed into a prison of sorts, or in a room of sorts, and you automatically think of the verse Genesis 6:4, and it says, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children, or I've seen verses where it says they bore children to them. The same became mighty men, which were all men of renown. Look at the verse again. There were giants in the earth, in, not on. Whether that's just a play or a mistranslation, but for me, it's showing you again when these people, these fallen, were placed or put or cast, whatever way you want to look at, into a room, a prison, earth, this realm. Could it be like I was saying? We are in a chamber, and there is many chambers, and this is talking about giants being put in the earth in those days to do a place into, not onto. Whether that's nothing, probably, but still nice play of words to show you guys. Hence the fallen angels. The fallen angels are said to have led humans to sacrifice to demons, the first time this particular sin has been mentioned. The first version concludes with 1903, with the notice that Enoch alone among the humans was allowed to see the vision. So we have talk of fallen angels, and obviously giants, because people believe the fallen angels were giants, and also Nephilim. We've had talk of obviously that verse about the giant men of renown, but I just want to show you the attention to this on the screen. So when you think of giants, most of us will think of titans, because of, you know, being introduced to Greek mythology and all that growing up in films. And if you just look at the definition, if you just type titan in, one of the definitions you'll get is this, it's on the screen. Any family of giants in Greek mythology born of Uranus and Gaia and ruling the earth until overthrown by the Olympian gods. So, you know, everyone can all agree on that. Titans, Uranus, Gaia. Now, I have to be honest with you now, guys. I did this a long time ago. What you're seeing on the screen was a Latin converter. It's never worked since. It's one of those anomalies. Was it done on purpose, or was it just a glitch in the matrix, or was it sometimes just something to show you? And this inspired me a long time ago to do a video That's on my list about the giant men of renown. Hence what we're talking about today, being imprisoned in Tartarus, etc. And me talking about this being a chamber, and in the celestial video, are we in Tartarus, burial chamber, etc, etc. So we're looking at the screen. I typed in Titan and it gave me in Latin Stantibus Celsius. So it doesn't work now because I've tried it since, but it worked for me that time. So weird. And then at the side you can see Stantibus Celsius means those that imprisoned. Were they the ones who were imprisoned, or were they the ones that imprisoned people? So that got me thinking, and I did the Old Men of Renown, and it's a video if you can check it out if you want, and it got me to thinking, is our skeleton being the prison for the Old Men of Renown or Titans? And there's talk of obviously the serpent seed, the reptilian side, whatever. There's also, there's so many people think different things on it. So what intrigued me is, obviously you have Uranus being named as the chief giant person. Well, guys, I researched Janus, and in text you'll get stuff like this: Janus, the fabled son of Uranus. You'll also get other text showing you that other names for Janus. Obviously I've talked about Noah before. Here you have Uranus is highlighted there. It's really, really small, so I've had to zoom in for you. And at the side you can see Janus, porter of the heavens. So you can see those two are connected by the sun, or being one in the same. Uranus, Anos, Janus. There's so many words that we can play with. But that just blew me away. We're talking about the giants, Nephilim, fallen angels, the stars, and you have here Titans being those that were imprisoned. We're talking about Tartarus. Then you were talking about Enoch as well now, and who is the one showing Enoch around? It's Uriel. Now have a look at this as I was zooming past. Chapter 20 is a list of other names of archangels and their functions. Uriel or Sodriel, who is in charge of the world. Obviously that's why he's showing Enoch around, but he's also in charge of Tartarus. And he's talking about the angels that were in prison defiling women, thrown into the dark pit, and he's in charge and over Tartarus. So that is, you can see how everything is connected. So the guy who's over this world, and Tartarus is the one showing Enoch around. And there we go, in plain writing. And again, it's whoever wrote this webpage, his opinion. I can't back it up, I can't say nay or yay, but it's intriguing that he's mentioned in charge of the world and over Tartarus. So that's why I was just asking in those other videos, are we in the burial chamber, or are we in a prison? Because obviously the part of the etymology was a cell, and it just blew me away. I mean, in the video, the Old Men of Renown are broken down serpent, because people are talking about obviously this serpent seed, and that talks about being in prison, because I was talking about our skeleton. Could that be the skeleton around and the prison cell? And also now we're talking about giants being in this realm, Nephilim, fallen angels, whatever you want to call it. And you can see how I'm connecting all this, and it's just blown me away. So I'll show you the breaking down of the word serpent as well in this, just to give you a flavour of that video. I treat everything as information, and I look at films like Lord of the Rings portraying mountains as titans, as huge creatures battling. Well, I have a theory that I've just had an epiphany, and I want to share it with you now. So when I saw this of the gods that landed in Tartarus, saw the black cube, I automatically thought of Mecca and the people walking around it. So it gave me an epiphany. It's just a theory, nothing more, but to me it resembles sperm circulating the egg. Now we have people talking about the conflict of ages between the woman's seed and the serpent seed. What if, and this is just a big what if we humans as vessels are Tartarus? We are here to keep the titans, the seed, the serpent imprisoned. Basically a growing prison around it. and the cabal, the evil that be, are trying to harness and basically help the serpent escape. Now, if you might think that sounds crazy, it does actually, but just hear with me, because serpent, I'll do a spell etymology on serpent, and it's wow. So serpent, obviously a snake, but let's just split it down in half. S-E-R-P-E-N-T. S-E-R means to sit, to reside, and some to be. So basically to sit, to reside. Proto-Indo-European of that, meaning to protect. Wow, so it means to sit and protect something residing inside. Wow, what does pent mean? Well, pent means kept in a confined or to enclose. Also means 5 as well. So you telling me serpent can be broken down to mean to keep something confined, enclosed, and protect it inside. That to me is just wow. Just wow. So think of humans as Tartarus, and maybe if you can harness this energy, you then become a Tartarian. Or is it something completely different? Am I just talking bollards, as I say, which I could and always sometimes do, but I'm just theorising, I'm throwing an idea out, because obviously when sperm, fertilises the egg and the embryos grow, it does start off looking like a snake, a reptilian type of thing. It does, doesn't it? There's no way around it. Now, what if I'm talking right? Or I'm theorising something here that it just something about it, it's just not letting it go, if that makes sense. It's like we were created as a prison to harness, to enclose, basically to keep the serpent inside in check, because we are powerful. Who knows? Is it just NPCs? Is it a different race? Who this is doesn't necessarily mean it's all of us. Now, when I did a video on Dendera, there was giants in there as well, and there was serpents, sperm being grown in incubators. Was this a time before that? I just don't know, because obviously from that quote, there were giants in here, before and after, and obviously it said they came into women. So it just makes you think, doesn't it? That's all I ever ask in my videos, to help you think. Now I'm going to show you that Dendera video, not in full, but just a little bit to show you that there is serpent snakes being grown in incubators. See what you think. Before we talk about Dendera, and I'll show you that clip in a sec, we are vessels. A vessel can be a hollowed utensil such as a cup, a vase, or a vase used as a container, especially for liquids, or like a shipping container. But it can carry many things. So it's intriguing when I'm talking about, are we a vessel for titans? Who knows? Like I said, it's just a theory. And we know they like to move around the A's and the E's, they're interchangeable. If you're aware, a state that is basically obliged, it's a mutual obligation to a superior state or empire, is known as a vassal. Very similar to vessel. And sometimes I believe they treat us like vassal states, because we are sovereign, yet they think we're obliged to them. So it's just something to ponder on. Right guys, so you just saw what my old video was talking about in regard to the word serpent or serpent. I basically broke it down a long time ago, and I was talking about how it was basically prison. It was the word means to keep something confined and enclosed and protect it inside. So are we not in a chamber? This is the whole point of this video. And have you not seen references to Tartarus? And could we actually be in Tartarus, and are we descendants from the so-called fallen? Was there another race before them? Who knows? Like I said, I'm just theorising and winging it as I say. But do we not start off as the embryo looking like a serpent, like a snake, a reptilian? We have a reptilian brain. But if we look a little bit different and just look at the word, it says to keep something confined and enclosed and protect it inside. Now, not necessarily means serpent as reptilian or a snake or the beast. You know, we are referenced as the beast. Satan is a beast. We are beasts, are we not? We treat people disgustingly and our behaviour sometimes. But again, we're going into another topic on you know, behaviour and different things. But could it just mean we were put inside this place to protect and keep it confined and inside? Was it from a curse? Because we have precursors. Or is it just lay of the land? And the land, again, lay of the land. I mentioned in the video we raised by Giants Rider Lead the other day that land is DNA, L, which is basically the DNA of Homo sapien. So to say we are dry soil and soil and dirt, that some religions and cultures believe in, and yes, that could come from, well, yes, dirt is silica, carbon based, etc., etc., but we don't know the how this realm was it more carbon based, silica based? You know, we can just work off of what we see now and theorize. So we just found that fascinating, that serpent, like the snake, is talking about to keep us confined. And I was talking about the skeleton confining a prison within a prison, because we do inside of us keep cells. Or is it the fact that the wind range, like a philosophical type of view, that it's us being kept like animals in a zoo, in a cage, confined, and we're acting like serpents? You know, there's so many ways, religious based, looking at it, and I just find it fascinating to add to what I've said so far. And that this whole video on the word serpent from the old men of renown, you can find these. It's one of the biggest viewed videos. Nearly 200,000 people have watched it, and obviously YouTube decided to monetize them by putting advertisements in, but you can do that to any video they choose. So again, it's just an interesting you know, bit I've broken down. Now, do I believe it? Do not. I love throwing things out. Now, it's that word's talking about keeping something confined, and I'm talking about this being a chamber. Again, they're both one and the same, aren't they, guys? So, on with the video. So what you're seeing here, guys, because I just talked about the cube of Saturn, haven't I, and a little bit of Tartarus. And this is from my book of signs, a book by Rudolf Koch. And as you can see from it, it talks about the dot. The dot is the origin from which all signs start, and it's the innermost essence. So, you know, innermost essence. It was with this idea that the Masonic lodges of old expressed the secrecy of their guilds by means of the dot. Now, a lot of people talk about the Masons. What are they famed from? Coming from the stone Masons. So you can see the emphasis on the stone, working with stone. I'm talking about being in a chamber, in a core of a realm, and obviously stone crystal will be prevalent because we are inside underground chamber. So this is why the origins of the Masons intrigue me, and from that point of view, I'm going to show you something regarding the Masons in a little bit. But if you look at the dot, and it can be any dot, it really doesn't go into detail, but the one they showed in this old book, because he's like a medieval book, the book's not medieval but it's found from medieval signs. Look at the shape of the dot. It's like a cube of Saturn, which if you've watched my stuff long enough, and I'm not going to show it into this because we'll then going up and talking about different things. Saturn is Janus, another name for Janus, and obviously Saturn is one of the celestial bodies. This is what we're all talking about. And a star, does it not look, and I'll just use my mouse on the screen, you can see, does it not look like a star? Or do you not see two V's, a V shape, two V's? And I'll be talking on why that is prevalent again in a minute. But I was just thinking out the box, as I do, and please don't take this as fact or anything like that. This is just me winging it, theorising, thinking out loud, pretending you guys are with me as I'm researching and making a video, and I'm talking to myself because I'm thinking I'm talking to you like I do always, and I'm going backward and forwards. I'm having a conversation. What about this? What about, should I put this in? Different things. And I was thinking, if we are in a chamber underground or in a structure, what would be the most prevalent substance or mineral in this realm? And again, please don't take this as fact, and I found that the most common mineral is something called Bridgmanite, named after a guy called Percy Bridgman. It's named after Percy Bridgman, the Nobel Prize winning inventor of high pressure crystallography. Now, as you know, I've made the odd video on crystals and how prevalent they are in us. Do you remember when I showed you that our structure was 65% crystal, our skeleton, again, hidden 11? Do you know what percentage Bridgmantle makes up of this realm? 38%. Another 11. Now, what this is not ideal. Again, I'm just theorising. This Bridgmanite is only found at the lower mantle. They say they've never really found it in, on Earth. It's in Earth, and that's just what made me go, So the crystalline structure of Bridgmanite is cube, just like the little dot. It's found, it's 38% of the Earth, and the depth, they say, and I know we've only been to X amount of depth because of the core drill, but even where it's found adds up to 11. Now, they say, and again this is tongue-in-cheek, they say a form of Bridgmanite was found in Australia from a meteorite. Now think about it. If I'm saying that we're in a chamber, anything that falls from, yes, you got it, from the roof, the arch, has to be we're in the structure basically. So people have found the sky blue ice. I've talked about the firmament being liquid crystal and sentient. So if this meteorite fell from what people call space, and people automatically start to get to, oh, there's no such thing as space. Think about the word, guys. Think about the word. We are in a chamber, yep, and above is the atmosphere, but we are in you got it, a space. We are in a space formed inside of rock, crystal, whatever structure, you guys want to make it prevalent for you to understand it. It's space. And I'm going to go into that again as well in a minute, which will blow your mind. So the reason I've just picked that Bridgmanite is because that makes up the core of percentage wise, the most abundant. Obviously you have quartz and different things like this, but we're talking about this as an 11 realm of 11, and this Bridgmanite is the most prevalent mineral found. Yes, it's at a core, but if I'm talking about being underground, we don't know, I can't use the science or theorized science. I'm just saying, listen, if we're underground and this thing is at the core, could in essence that be what is formed around us or underneath? And again, they found this structure in Australia of all places, and they've just theorized this stuff is what is in the core of the earth. Now, if further down, if that is the case, it'd be all around us, wouldn't it, in essence? So that's just why I'm looking at that. But what made me go because obviously I researched Janus. He has so many different faces. The prevalent one at the minute is his Bifron's stage, which is 2, but the actual 2 faces has a hidden third, which you can't see even at the Bifron's stage of being 2-headed. Now they say the structure of this Bridgmanite, sorry, like I said, I'm just reading as I'm going, is a cube-like pattern, yep, made up of 2 positively charged elements, two charges of L. So there's the two faces, and here's the wow. It's held together by a third negatively charged one. Huh. The invisible one, negatively charged. So you have two either side, and a negative charged one in the middle, being the invisible third head. Is that me just looking too much into it? Most probably, but you cannot ignore it just because people don't want you to talk about it. And we're talking about space. There's no such thing as space. Yeah, but you're thinking of space as Star Trek-y, NASA, lies, space, flying around in spaceships. I'm talking about physically it being you got it, a space, a void, which says if people read the Bible, the waters above, the waters below, and the void, the dark pit. What we're actually in, I'm theorising, is none other than, yes, you got it, made up of this structure, Bridgmanite, that they've not found on Earth. Because we're not on Earth, we could be in Earth. Again, just theorising, guys. Now, I'm going to come up and show you a little bit more with Freemasonry and this stuff about the shape, because there's an interesting thing in Enoch, and I'm going to get to that now. So I'm just going to skip over a little bit because I want to go to this, what we're talking about now. Enoch 27-10 briefly describes the terrible prison of the fallen angels. The place is a narrow cleft. Now, cleft, yes, we think of a cleft lip, but cleft is a V-shaped or basically gorge or gap. And we're talking about this realm. So are we in a chamber that is it basically gouged out in a V-shaped? A V-shape could be an arch, a vault. Talks about that in Genesis, doesn't it? And the place is a narrow cleft filled with a great fire. Again, the sun. Enoch cannot estimate the size of this place. So how can he say it's a narrow cleft? Right, so I'm back to this, what you're seeing on the screen, because I promised I'd reveal a wow that a lot of you already will probably be typing in into the comments, or if I premiere this. And obviously I've just mentioned about the shape, and it mentioned a cleft, and we all think of obviously the lip, but obviously I showed you that the definition is about a chasm, a cut, or a breach, and I'm talking about being in a chamber. But if you get back to this shape, that putting two V's, which is the cleft, onto the dot, which is the dark pit, which is also, if you think about it, what do we do when we're typing into the internet? And some people have already mentioned this on Twitter, and I've mentioned it a long time ago. www dot, so the www, obviously the World Wide Web, but it's conjoining V's, isn't it, if you think about it? So, and the dot is the origin of which everything starts. So yes, it's even in obviously the internet. But back to this, a lot of you will automatically have said, when I've done this with the two little green V's, it looks like the Masonic symbol of the compass and square with the G inside. Now, to me, yes, it does. I'm not saying this is how they came up with the idea, but to me, in my strange world in my head, this is why they did it. They are showing you the realm that we live in. The two V's, the two V's that I'm showing you from the cube, or the essence, the crystal, the dark pit, and we have the G in the middle. So what could the G be? That is what we're all going to theorize. Some said God, grand architect, so on and so on. But if we live in an underground chamber, and they are telling you they live in an underground chamber, yes, we're talking about geology, but what could it be? And this is what I believe. The G stands for geode, and I'm going to show you a few images of a geodes, then give you a brief etymology of the word, then show you evidence that we've always seen that we're in a geode. Right, guys, are you ready? So, geode, noun plural, geodes, a small cavity in rock lined with crystals and other mineral matter. Matter, remember, if I change that M to up, it's water, matter, I've talked about that so long ago. So let's have a look at the origin of geode. Greek GE meaning earth. There we go, guys, straight away. I don't need to expand on it. They're telling you it's earth. Geode, earthy, geodes, early 17th century in form of geodes via French and Latin from Greek geodis, earthy from GE meaning earth. So the G, geode, means earth. We are living in earth. Hence, when we go back to the screen that we were just looking at, look, the G is inside the cleft, the two V's in earth. How wow is that? So for me, that was a definite wow. But I just want to progress it a little bit more. Now, I've always looked into things with regard to 11 and 11. And in Masonry and mathematics and different things, there is a famous 47th problem from Euclid. Obviously, it's tied to Pythagoras too. And it is the root of all geometry. It is behind the discovery of every mathematical unknown from two known factors. It's the very cornerstone of mathematics. Now, maths is not my strong point, so I'm not going to go into this too much, but I'm just going to theorise about something completely different that it shows. Now, I want to put up on the screen just a basic image that I found on the web, and it's obviously Euclid's 47th problem, or the Pythagorean theorem, whatever you want to call it, and it's on the right there. Now, do you see what I see? Not only is it the 47th problem, and it's mathematics, it's angles and geometry, that as I've said, but I'm not going to go into great detail on that. I'm just talking about the chamber in black, and obviously in most other things it's just a variant in different colours. But could that just be showing you like the 47? Yes, it's just a 47th problem, but could that be the angle of the V, the angle of the roof, or the geode, or where we are in? I mean, it's not like we have any crystals or minerals that look like Euclid's 47th problem for any precedent or anything. And it just got me that when Masons walk the winding stairs, they always talk about the middle chamber. And I think the middle chamber is where they used to get paid, according to when they built Solomon's temple. There used to be a middle chamber where they used to get paid. That's just what I've read on the internet as I've been doing this video. Well, some of these images of the rooms up at the top of the stairs or arches, and one of them does look like a geode. But could it just be a different meaning that we all know? Yeah, we'll put something out for the masses or anyone who wants to research and say, yes, it's this, it's the middle chamber, it's 47 Euclid's problem. But could it just have a deeper meaning of showing you the realm that we're actually in? If these people were stone masons and masters of stone and building, and we're actually living in a chamber, and they also reference a middle chamber, and also this, could it be in fact that the middle bit of Euclid is actually the chamber that we live in, or another chamber? I mean, they talk about Solomon's temple. Remember, temple was another part of the etymology for celestial, because it was chamber or a temple. Crazy, huh? So I just had to put that in, see what you guys think of that a little bit. It just it blew me away, to be honest. This just looking at things completely different, not stating the fact or anything, just, you know, me throwing out a theory between friends that a lot of people may have talked about, because obviously they're not precedent to everyone's words or spells, as we call it. But I just think I'm onto something with this when I'm putting it together like this, that this black dot represents so much. You even got talk of the black sun. I know I've talked about that being our eyes, but again, it's a black dot. It could resemble many things. But from that to get to masonry to geode, to me was a wow. And now the 47th problem, could that be the angle of the roof, the firmament? And they've just hidden it in plain sight. It's just a thought. See what you guys think of this, if you cannot estimate the size. So again, are we in a chamber filled with a great fire. But he is terrified because of that sight. Uriel tells him the fallen angels will be confined forever. So basically it goes into the second journey, and it says, in his vision Enoch travels to the place of punishment of the fallen stars. Are we in the chamber, the punishment of the fallen stars? He sees a chaotic and terrible place in which 7 stars as large as mountains are bound. Now, if I remember this right, and it's not very much, I do remember this right, how many continents did they say we have? I'm positive it is 7 continents. Would that not match this? He sees a chaotic, terrible place in which 7 stars as large as mountains are bound. So are we living on a bound, fallen one? Each continent is one of these fallen angels or giants. I'm just dumbfounded, and we've all seen these over the years, and just one video about breaking down of celestial has revealed this, and I'm going to go into more detail in future videos, but I just wanted to start off with a nice little intro video, tell people about this, because obviously we all know this, but you know what I mean in the sense of this video. So when Enoch asks who the stars are, Uriel chastises him for his eagerness. The angel explains that the place is a prison house for the angels who are detained there forever. So on the west side of the great mountain, Enoch sees a place where the dead assemble until the day of judgment. Enoch sees a spirit which left Abel carrying out the descendants of Cain to be exterminated. From there he continues to the west, where he sees the tracks of the sun. The tracks of the sun. The sun does analema. Could it be this what he's talking about? The fire burning in the west. And then he goes on in Enoch 1, 24, 25. Enoch goes to another place on earth, was shown as a huge mountain of fire. From there he could see 7 other mountains made of precious stones, and each more glorious than the next. The greatest of these summits is the throne on which God will sit when he visits the earth with goodness. So I don't want to read out every this, but I just wanted to give a brief showing you this, because it's talking about 7 mountains again, 7 continents, which actually just blows my mind, because I forgot all this, because it's a long time since I've not read this as such, listened to the audiobook type of thing, because obviously, you know, I do find some words difficult to read, and I'm just looking at it as a as a code word sometimes. But come on guys, we've broken down the word celestial to talk about the cell, underground chamber of the host, the stars of God, and we're talking about something divine. And now we can see from this just 2 things about one guy's theory that we're living in a chamber of various rooms, and Enoch is basically telling us the same. Wow. So something come to me, guys, and this is going to be near the end, because I don't want to leave it too long, because this is just like an introduction to this wacky theory I've got that a lot of people have had. It's not me just coming out with this, but tying it all together in this package is me, and this feels like an old What the Flock special. You know, cramming everything in, showing you guys what's going on in his crazy head and seeing where the pieces lie. And what got me thinking of this is, now we was talking about how in that Enoch it talks about the 7 stars being cast down. So they've sinned, haven't they? They've been cast down, and they've basically been imprisoned. So I was thinking, 7 stars, could they be the 7 continents? That's why I put that bit in. And then when I got really to think about it, when they were cast out and sinned and cemented, it reminded me of the 7 deadly sins. And yes, I know the 7 deadly sins are not continents, but what if that was hidden in that metaphorically? If you sinned like the 7 deadly stars, they became the sins. So that just got me to think, could the 7 deadly sins be based on the 7 stars that were cast out in Enoch that became the 7 continents? Because when we're talking about, obviously I've just talked about Euclid and that being, could that be the angle of the roof, etc., or more hidden metaphors? And there's another thing that Pythagoras did. It was basically talking about how the, sorry, not long woke up. It's an early one for me, an early start today doing this because I'm so far behind. And I need to get it done. I'm too excited, I can't hold it any longer. So he talks about how everything, and I've done many videos this on the old black sheet, how even the stars, the planets created music. So he based that and then did the 7 musical notes. Again, 7. And in Rome, they named the days of the week after the planets. And I'll put the pictures on, but I've just got to go on my phone so I remember the full name. So basically the Romans named the days of the week after the planets as followed. Sunday, dies, it's spelled dies, D-I-E-S, dies Solis, which is the sun. Monday, dies Luna, which being the moon. And I've just got to go over. Tuesday, die Martis. Right, so let me get it in order. Wednesday dies Mercurial. Thursday dies Jovis. And I'll put the images on the screen so you don't have to worry. Friday dies Veneris. And Saturday dies Saturni. So listen to this, guys. The days of the week in Latin are dies. So you die every day. That just got me. Think about it. You go to sleep, you die, and you wake up on another day. Crazy when you think about it like that, isn't it? Because in Latin, days, D-A-Y-S, is spelled D-I-E-S, dies of the week. So you go to sleep at night, you are dying, you reborn the next day. Also, you could look at it, if they're naming the planets, and again, this is just off this, it's, you know, not a broad round thing. If they name the days of the week after the 7 planets, are they talking about their death and worshipping their day? So Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, after the planets, because they died, they were cemented, they were captured, they were cast out, they were frozen into mountains. And they were the celestial, and everything in the celestial made music, as Pythagoras said. And are they then the 7 deadly sins, 7 musical notes? And again, you could do 7 days of the week, so on and so on and so on. So I didn't want to go into that too much. But then it got me thinking again, and that is a dangerous thing. One of the most videos I'm proud of, it's not saying it's the best made, but one of the videos that I was most proud of is obviously the Crystal Matrix video that I talked about on the Occult Rejects. And it's, you know, it's on my list, so watch it. Basically showing us how we are all crystal. Funny that, isn't it? We're living in a geode. And another video is the Great Vowel Shift. Now I broke down vowel to be Vowel. Now L, I've talked about some L being something different, but what on a whole we're told is the L's from Elohim mean more than one God. How about if those vowels to more than one God are 7 gods for the vowels? And you might think, well, the vowels A, E, I, O, U, it's only 5. But it's sometimes Y. And it's sometimes W. There's a V. So 7. The Gnostics in ancient Egypt had 7, and it was so sacred they only sang this song. And A-E-I-O-U is supposed to be God's name. God could be God's plural. I've showed you the stuff in the vowel shift about it being a God's name. Could this be the stars, the musical notes produced in us in the vocal chords are the vowels, the great vowels? And as I split it up, the great vow to L. Remember, we're shifting L's. So what if there is either 7 mountains in this one geode, or are there different realms to different gods? And again, I'm just contradicting myself slightly from other videos, but I'm just learning and theorizing as I'm going. And this excites me. I know some people don't like theorizing, but it's just reality. It's just life. That's all we're going to get, unfortunately. We're just going to get people's opinions on things. And I'm blown away. So there were 7 vowels. But it's funny when we're talking about vowels, and then we're talking about the rest of the alphabet as consonants. Shit, Brick Paul. That sounds like continents, doesn't it? And I know there's more than one continent. More than it would have been for the full planets. But it just seems funny how it's so close to everything in it. They were cast down and created 7 mountains. And I theorise it continents. They could be the 7 continents. It just blows me away. And that freaked me out a little bit, because you don't think about these things when you see it. I mean, I posted that about the days in the week to get people thinking, what's he producing? Because what I generally do is I'll leak stuff on my Twitter. So if you want to see stuff, check me Twitter out, because it shows you what's going on in my mind. And in that, I post symbols of the day from Rudolph Koch's book. And I posted that last week, or a few days ago, about the days of the week. The dies of the week. So in Latin, days are dies. So again, as we're saying, is that talking about how we go to sleep? Because some people did a long time ago think we died when we go to sleep because we are laid to rest. And in the morning, the sun basically rejuvenates, reincarnates us. It's just things to look at, isn't it? And that's all I ever ask her. So when we're looking at this, and we're looking at the vowels and consonants, and God's name being the vowels, and how, I mean, I think there even might be more vowels. I swear someone said there was more vowels, but I'm just going off this, what I can remember in my head at the time, of being 7 in Egypt. And that is why sometimes Y is and W is involved. So that would then be 7 vowels. And what if we are living in or on the 7 vowels, the giants, the stars that were cast down from the celestial heavens? And this is what we have. So that's intriguing, isn't it? And it just, again, more stuff that I've made a long time ago and I've not realised because I wasn't ready for this. And I believe this is something special. Now that could just be in my head, and it's my journey, and this is what it feels for me. Again, at 12 years old, I stood up in front of class, got made a mockery of because I said we lived underground. I'm full circle now. I must say how old I am now. I'm a few ages of the tree, some rings of the tree, but come on, makes sense, right? That's why we have 7 days of the week named after 7 planets and 7 dies. Earth was created in 7 days. Why that specific number? And again, you could throw out all different numbers to me, but it's just a coincidence that these 7 planets that the days of the week are named after are in the celestial heavens, and they died and they were cast out. And to call the days dies, that just like, whoa, I never thought about it like that. And we don't. And these videos are just here to, you know, hopefully give people inspiration in the sense of a spark in the head. Oh, Paul said that, but I think this, and then running with that. That's what we're here to do. We all see different things. And that's the beauty of it. People will see it flat, some people convex, concave, and we're all of them. We're all of them. If we're in a geode or an enclosed system, we're all of them. Flat, concave, convex, because we're inside, and people have shown you different images for these. And you just got to interpret those images that people show as being in an enclosed chamber from the etymology of the celestial stars. Right, guys, so that to me blew me away. I'm just going to leave you with something else before my thoughts, and I just appreciate you for hanging out for so long and seeing what goes on in this crazy head. Right, that little bit extra now, what I promised before, because I know I promised something about the geode and proof. I know I did show you that with the etymology. Geode comes from GE, meaning earth. We're in earth, but here's the other evidence or proof or theoretic inspiration to show you that we're inside. So most of you'll know what this is, and this is Robert Simon, Mr. Blue Marble. It is photoshopped, but it has to be. Now look at the name Blue Marble for the name for Earth, and they talk about how it's being photoshopped because it has to be. But that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the chosen name Blue Marble, because in an old video about monumental cemeteries I showed you the etymology, or the spell etymology, of the word marble being spiritually dead. And what have we been talking about in this video about being in an enclosed system, underground, minerals, crystals, talking about dead being days of the week, cemented, all this. And the name they've given the earth in their Photoshop meme, that's obviously a lot of people know about, is Blue Marble. Wow. So again, I'm showing you in the description, yeah, we're calling it Blue Marble. And obviously it's famous in a lot of circles because it's Photoshop, and it has to be. But they chose the name Blue Marble because obviously they're thinking, oh yeah, we're referencing it to a blue marble, an actual marble. But what if it's not? And I've talked about blue in recent videos, but the word marble, and I'm going to show you just a little snippet from the old video about monumental cemeteries, because people were talking about how you know, these marble statues and granite statues, whatever they're made out of, look so lifelike. They look like they could actually be frozen and dead in time. And I did the etymology of the word marble to find, yeah, guys, look, just lonely old me found this etymology of the word marble being spiritually dead, and they've chosen the name Blue Marble. So I wanted to include that, and I'm going to play, but it's about a minute or so video, and then I will go to that bit of promise. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to throw this into, because I thought it's just so ironic they've called it the Blue Marble, and obviously the marble is reference to something spiritually dead. They're talking about the fallen, the 7 stars, so I had to include it. Here you go, guys. Adjective marb, meaning dead, mortified, insensible, spiritually dead, pertaining to the dead. Say what? You heard it. Dead, mortified, insensible, spiritually dead, pertaining to the dead. So marb means that. And people are talking about marble statues being could they once be human beings? Some of them, I'm not saying everyone, because obviously some of it's craftsmanship, but it just blows my mind away. And like I say, I'm not saying this or that, I'm just showing you what I found. If you don't agree with it, that's your problem. Do you know what I mean? I'm just wow, because people are talking about this and this, and to look into the etymology of marble. Now if you type marble in all at once, obviously you get the etymology of what basically I've been talking about. But splitting it up, we know LE or EL is godly. And the marb, as you can quite see on the screen, means dead, mortified, insensible, spiritually dead, pertaining to the dead. So marble altogether could be God, a god, not the god, because obviously small lowercase g, something godly. Is something godly mortified or took away the spirit or turned these people into stone, like a gorgon or a titan, or some sort of technology or some event that happens, plasmapheric or a frequency, who knows? But it's just something to think on. That marble means that, well, marb means that, and obviously the EL then makes it godly. So you can see, is it a ritual for a god to turn people into stone and put them in a monumental area, an important area to show off? It's just, I know it's a way out there theory and a huge what if, but I'm just absolutely dumbfounded by what I found marb to mean. So I want to finish off with what I promised, just to show you, doesn't this look like the same thing? It's like, it's not to be taken as proof, it's just like, wow, yeah, it does look similar. And remember, everything that looks similar doesn't mean it actually is. There's a rare occurrence, I have to say that. So it's just me theorizing, and hey guys, doesn't this look like it? And I've been talking about this for a long time. It might have been in the old video, but as you can see, these are just geodes, you know, polished into, you know, circle crystal balls. And when I saw these, it just brought me back to think of one thing that we can see in the sky at all times, and I'll show you that now. Does it not remind you of the Milky Way, or also known as aka the Great Rift, which has always been talked about as the tear that the flood came through? Now what if, and this is just a huge what if, what we've seen as the Great Rift is we just seen that crack in the chamber or the geode, and that's what we've always seen. And I've always talked about the firmament being liquid crystal, and again, if we are in a room at the inn or underground, whatever which way we want to say it, could it be what I'm talking about? Is it like a geode, and that is the crack that we've always seen? Is it evidence? Yes. Is it proof? Yes. Is it fact? Is it truth? No, it's just my interpretation of looking at those crystal ball geodes and saying, yeah, what is that the sky? And no one can deny it does look like that type of thing, a crack in the heavens, a rift, and it does look like a crack in a geode. I mean, in ancient Egypt they said it was nuts, and you can just see the equivalence of in all paintings that they've done. And remember a few videos I always showed you that lapis lazuli with the blue and the gold does resemble the heavens, again a crystal. And I'll finish off with just showing you some nice crystals that do look like the heavens, the sky, the fires, a few, you know, to get you in the mood before I go to my thoughts. So hopefully guys, you've enjoyed this first, I don't know what you want to call it, video on a theory that I've had since I was 12, and now I'm just being able to get it into words, and from the breaking down of the word celestial came all this. So hopefully you've enjoyed it, and my thoughts are coming up now guys. Bye.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome to What the Flock TV. I'm your host, Paul. Right guys, I'm crazy, I know it. So I want to start by thanking everyone for the good wishes for my daughter who's not well. Thank you, really means a lot. Gives me strength. So thank you for that. And I'll do the video. So like always, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's helped the channel, and people be listening. How can we help the channel? Just by liking, sharing, subscribing, telling people to check out the channel. That really does help the algorithms. And also for the people who have bought me a coffee, guys, it's just humbling. So I'm in your thoughts, and that really does help. So really appreciate that, guys. It all helps. Liking, sharing, and buying me coffee. If you want to do that, the link is in the description. Just follow that. It's truly appreciated, and thank you, guys. Thank you, flockers, flockaholics, whatever we want to call ourselves. So on with the video. I've had to restart again for some reason. The sun is bouncing off all the cars, blinding me in the eye. Trying to stop the video, and I'm like, I'll just change the blind, I'll just pull this, I'll do this, I've had to put curtains on. I'm like, oh my god, when has the sun ever hit a certain angle or angel that it's coming like this? It's just so funny, you have to laugh. So we're starting with this video. So if you're wondering, if you're new to the channel, if this is the first time that you're watching me or the second, thank you for coming back. For those that stayed for longer punishment, much love, guys, much love. You really do give me inspiration and strength through your comments. That is what's beautiful about this, about what we do. You know, new people interact. It's just humbling all day, every day. And thank you, guys. So this video is a carry on of such from the video called The Celestial. I do a series breaking words down from my own point of view, called Spell Etymology, and my last video, it's on my channel, was called Celestial. So I broke that down, and it was giving words out like chamber, temple, underground, host, stars, and things like this. And as soon as we're talking about that, 9 times out of 10 you think, oh god, the fallen, the Elohim, the giants, the Nephilim, demons, angels, the whole caboodle. That's what you're thinking about. You cannot but think of it. So I thought, you know what, I then went on to talk about, are we in a bedroll chamber, a prison? And as soon as you talk about bedroll chambers, prison, we're not you're programmed in a way to think, you know what, Tartarus and the Titans, who were giants, were angels, whatever we want to believe they are, because, you know, I can say what the so-called accepted theories, and I'm not one for going word accepted it, because sometimes I think that is just telling us what we want to hear, and that's why I promote on this channel. This is not fact, it's just my theory, just my putting together from what I see. I really do detach myself and try not having an emotion, but my excitement gets there when I see things coming together like I am now. That's why I did the live the other night, because I just can't hold it. I have to let a little bit out, like a steam valve, you know, and then on a diesel engine or something, like a ship, that release pressure valve. I have to, because I'm just pinging all over the place, and I'm like, I need to tell someone, and you know what I mean, the people around me are sick of hearing. So you guys get both barrels. That's why I had to do that. And if you follow me on Twitter, I know some people are not on Twitter, so if you're not on social medias like that, don't set one up just to follow me. It would be nice, but no, you know, stick to your guns. If you don't want to go on them, don't go on them. But if you are on them, just head to What the Fuck TV, and you'll see stuff. I give little hints. I don't say this is for the next video, but I just post stuff and see, you know, what people say to it, because they appear in videos, and that's what's happening with a lot that's gone into this. People not realizing it's coming into a video. So yeah, just head to Twitter, What the Flock TV, or Instagram. I know that's mainly just images, but you know, it's good to, you know, have chats and opinions with people. So we started then looking at, we're in a chamber, and I was looking at this while I was making the Celestial video, and I think, should I make a video, because this is so profound to me. Most of you know that when I was 12 I stood up in class, I can't remember if it was an RE class or a geography class, it was something, or history, talking about Atlantis and different things like this, and I stood up, it must have been history, I think. It was a very, very long time ago, and I'm like, we're underground, I'm just using my eyes, you know, why do certain things don't change? I know the stars are just on a pattern, And obviously I felt because of the barometric pressure, because I'm very subtle, I can feel when the pressure is changing, and I'm thinking we're in a terranium type of thing, underground. And that's what I was saying in class, got laughed at by the teacher, you know, and you know that, oh well, welcome Paul, you know, we all think differently, and all that patronising shit, and everyone was laughing. It doesn't faze me. You know what I mean? I am who I am, and I won't change for nothing, even if it's the cost of anything around me. You know, I believe we're put here for a reason, and that's another thing. We're put here into a chamber with the fallen, and surely, you know, they have to have bred with some species that was in this chamber, this prison, to get us. But again, like I said, this theory isn't fact. Just, you know, I'm just basically talking out loud, and I'll try and work on it, and I'm going to work on it, because, well, if you're really honest with yourself, guys, and set your ego out, we all have an ego. I have an ego. Just put your hand up. I have an ego. We all do. We all want to be right. We all want our theories and things to get, you know, oh, isn't that brilliant? We all do. But you've got to realise we aren't the same. We ain't the same. And hearing someone else's opinion helps your opinion, even if it's different, because it's describing something else that someone is seeing. Hence, that, remember, the easiest thing that you can do is write a 9 on the floor, stand at one end, one sees 6, one sees 9. Who's right? They're both right, but they're looking at something different. And then you'll have a person then come along, oh guys, you know, it's a perspective and you're seeing things differently. You know what I mean? So that is how this realm seems to work. The perspective changes, it molds, it changes, it morphs. It's like when I'm talking about atmospheric memory and the void, and even the void that was mentioned in Genesis, you know, the waters above, waters below, telling us that we're in the void. And you're able to use manifestation in this. And think about it, we're told by science that, yes, remember, you are made from stardust. And when you say to this, stardust, people automatically get triggered in certain communities. I'm not going to single anyone out, because I have a lot of friends in all communities and they don't get triggered because they're open-minded. But a lot of people do. So as soon as you say stardust and space, there's no such thing as space. I've had it on it. I've had comments on here saying you lost me when you said space. I've turned off. It's like, really? And it's like you're turning off from a word. It's a spell. You're getting triggered for a reason, and that's because they followed the set standard bearers in these saying no such thing as space. If anyone says space, they're a shield or a gatekeeper. They're holding you back. That's why I walked away from that community donkeys ago, before it was even fashionable, because I was getting called all names for thinking differently, because people want to control you. The controlling nature of the trolls. That's why troll is in control. So space, to me, is a space. You know, you're in a room, the space around you. So if we're in a chamber, it will have empty, hollow, and it is space. And that's the thing of it. Don't let anyone tell you you're not allowed to think differently. And with this theory, again, I was 12, got laughed at. And then I did that video on the celestial spell etymology, and it ignited me. The passion was back. And I'm saying, well, you know, I'm just going to put out this theory. And it's not just my theory. Loads of people have talked about this, but they haven't put it together like I have, because that's my own path. I see this, I put it together with this, and it molds together, and I'm using this, and it's basically like a chef. I'm cooking something, and I'm using my own preferred method, and this is what you get. Again, when people talk about, well, it's concave, it's convex, it's donut, it's flat, it's a globe, it's crater. All those things can be in an enclosed system, which everyone sometimes agrees on, because it's enclosed, because we're in a chamber. You know, It's why we are so-called dead entities, as people are pointing out in comments. Because we die every day. Is that just the stars? Is that just the fallen? Are they worshipping in the death and the rebirth, reborn, the reincarnation every day? Or is that us? We go to sleep, we are set like a coffin, and we get reborn each day on a new day of death. As soon as we are birthed and bored, we are dying, and we count down those days till we die. A lot of death. What do we say in a morning? We are mourning. Exactly. Why'd you say that word in a day? In the beginning, mourning, because you were mourning, because you were dying from that being reborn. And all these words just get you go. So people talk about the Nephilim, how they are their bloodline. Well, if they fell and then they were accused of coming in the daughters of men and so on, that says we were already here. And when that verse talks about there were giants in the earth in those times, yes, these are different translations, but it's been translated to that reason, and that's what I'm looking at. It says there were giants in the earth, because how many religions and cultures talk about races and advanced people coming from in the earth to help? Can we not be the ones in it? So instead of us being on the top, what we're thinking on the top is, I'm walking around doing our stuff and people coming out helping us, we're just in different rooms. People think, we're on the top deck. Well, in fact, we could be in a chamber underground in an enclosed system. What the spell etymology of celestial said. And it seems funny that everything seems to fit that from this old standpoint of view. I mean, then you talk about hollow earth as a theory, and again, picture an Edam Swiss cheese with all the little holes in the hole. How long ago did I talk about the word hole in the video? We're in the whole world in his arms. We've got the whole world. Whole. So the world is whole, but a hole contains a hole, a pit. And people will talk about Abaddon and things like this. We're actually in the frigging pit. And I was not long talking to Raised by Giants Rider Lee. That it seems to be as a community knows we are in a huge sinkhole, a turd sinkhole, because the toxicity has just gone through the roof, and it's hard. But we need to find that balance. So when we're talking about the hollow earth theory, reading that from the Mundus Subterraneus, it says the whole earth is not solid, but everywhere is gaping and hollow with empty rooms and spaces and hidden burrows. If anyone's wondering what a burrow is a hole or a tunnel dug by either an animal or anything human or Nephilim or giants, whatever you want to call it. And people can get buried in burrows and different things. So that just said, I'm talking about us being in a chamber, which celestial, the heavens, the vault, the V, the arch. It's telling us. So, you have to read that beginning from Genesis, and it's about creation, and it's talking about splitting, and that talks about the nothingness, the dark hole, the pit, the deep. How deep? Do you know what I mean? And that's just, it just got me. And I've always been thinking about this, obviously, because since I was young, I come up with this theory. And again, my theory. And that just lit something underneath me when it talks about empty rooms and spaces, because that fits straight in with the spell etymology that I did on the celestial. So he's talking about the celestial heavens in the sky, the stars, and they were cast out. And words like host were in this. So are we the hosts to these fallen? That's why the old video that you saw a clip of about Serpent was this. Are we the host, the prison within the prison for these fallen? Hence why it says the Nephilim came, the giants came in the sun, the daughters of men, and so on and so on. Are we the prison within a prison? And that's why I broke down the word serpent, to show that being in an enclosed, confined space, bit like this realm. A lot of people believe we're in a cosmic egg. Again, what does an egg look like? Again, it's an enclosed system. It's in a chamber underground, and it's no different. That's just an egg. but then you've got to think of where that is the egg. You know what I mean? It's like so trippy to think about, and that's why I was saying, just take a step back and say out loud, "Oh, I live on a globe." You laugh because they say you're bouncing in space, spinning around with is it angular momentum? Once you start, you don't stop. But then again, why don't we go up and down and around and around? Because if we form straight away, I mean, even look at it. If I remember right, the sun is older than the earth, but it's not older than the water. Well, how did the water stay before the earth? You know what I mean? So a lot of things don't add up. And that's why we're here. We're here to theorise. Everyone here has theorised since Dot. Again, Dot. Since Dot. The beginning. Year Dot. That's why that dot is so relevant with the secret societies. And that's just, that blew me away as well, because I posted about that. So Enoch then went on to talk about, the dark pit with the heavenly fire. Is that the sun? I've always talked about we have more than one sun, but think about it, when we see in films like The Journey to the Centre of the Earth and different things like this, and they have a form of light that is created, it looks like the sun. We don't know if, there's holes within holes, chambers and connected rooms. That's why they call people dumbs. They say the deep underground bases are dumbs. I'm telling you, you're that dumb that you not even realise we're in a chamber. It's like when they do the Saturn's experiments, they did an experiment called the Loon Project. Loony. And if you look at the Project Loon means an idiot. So, they pick all these words for a specific reason, to mock you, to laugh. Look at these people, they're not seeing it. So he talks about the heavenly fire and the place where the stars and the powers of heaven are imprisoned. So everyone but the dog is telling you that these fallen were cast out, and they were stars and the powers of heaven, and they got imprisoned. And there's so many different names for this. And Tartarus is just one of them, and that's like the Greek version. Tartarus, the Titans, the giants. But I'm talking about a video where the celestial includes the celestial bodies and the stars, and they were cast out, and that's what made me go, wow. So it talks about how they were imprisoned, and then you got like Revelation 8:20 about wormwood being, bitter and thrown into the earth, and people say, well, wormwood's actually herb, but you know what I mean? Think about it. Are we living in wormwood? And that's where I was starting off with, because this isn't a nice world. It's a world of death. Everything from huge amongst size to the molecule, or whatever you want to call them, the atom, is eating each other. We're born to die. Yet, we can be, capable of such beauty and such love. And then when you look at love, It's evil backwards. So is it just the language, the magic, the spelling that is corrupt? Or are we in hell? But again, when we look at hell in our underworld, we automatically think, oh well, it's underworld, it's hell, it's evil. When in some places, like I said in them videos of hell is not what a lot of people believe. And we're only told what to believe. Right guys, from year dot, hell is fire and evil, and heaven is good and light. Light can blind, light can burn. Do you know what I mean? It's just so weird. I mean, when you have a migraine, do you go into a bright room? No. You shut your curtains, shut the blinds, and you go in the dark, and that helps. Going in the dark, nothingness. Remember, in old times, ancient times, black was white and white was black. So it's just that it seems to be living in a realm where the monopoly is on the masses. We say it's this. For instance, you know, the old age thing of Lucifer being Satan, many names, but Lucifer is not good. He's just he's not bad. He's just morning light, the star. So you can see where nothing is straightforward. And that means you to think, are we cursed to live in this place? Have we done something wrong to be cast in this place? Are we actually here? Is it a simulation? Are we dreaming? These are all things that we have to think about, and maybe for future videos. But when you start then talking about, well, people in communities are doing this symbol for flat earth and saying, look, it's a flat plane, it's an enclosed system, they're doing it there, they're showing you we're in an enclosed system. But what happens if it's showing you we're in a chamber? We're underground, we're in the underworld. And look, the fingers we're making, 666, and we've been programmed to say 666 is the beast. And then if people then research, you then see 666 is actually man, 6 protons, neurons, etc, etc. Again, were we getting that information wrong? Again, we're just told, and the information is out there, that is saying we're beast, we're not, it's man actually. Why has man got the same code as that beast? But isn't it 77 or 71? You know what I mean? So there's so many different theories out there to what is, because everything is based off a perception. So say I'm an archon being in charge of a town in antiquity. It's funny how they use that word, only archon, arches. And the head priest, and it's like, no, well, I've read it this way, that if you say this, you're an evil, you're a demon. It's funny that demon comes from genius. So then that's where things get based on, well, we have to follow this set rule, because pagan is evil, which we know it's not. It's just like anything. You have people who can be a priest, a vicar, anything, and they're evil. And you can have holy men of certain faiths, and they can be evil. It's the person, it isn't the title. And that's what is set on society. Crystals, it's satanic. Why is it satanic? I don't know. I've just always been told. And that is what is a lot. We're programmed, and things have sticked because your parents have said, and your grandparents have told them, and so on and so on. Or you taught in a faith that crystals are evil. Christ, God. We're living in a geode, underground, underworld chamber for this video. I don't know. And is it the realm of Elohim? The realm of the L's. Remember, electric meant the jurisdiction of L. So we have that hand sign being that, again, there to confuse us. were we to get information again? Oh, well, I'll get this book here. And this book was written, I'm just making it up. This book was written in 1602. And it says, if anyone in the future says anything this, they are a gatekeeper shield demon. And it's evil, 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 evil. Some reads that. Okay. Someone comes along and says this in a few years. Evil! And then you get another book, it's 1601, a year before. No, it's good. And it's just, and then some saying, well, that book was written first. What do we go off? And then some Johnny come lately will come on and go, you know what, guys? Peace. It's actually this. Shit. What do we think? And that's what the nature is. It's all information. It's all corruptible. It's all good. It's all bad. It's how you perceive it. Again, it's all personal. I mean, someone watching this video will, no, Paul, my intuition is saying it's this, and my intuition is never wrong. Okay, I'll delete the video. Bye, guys. It's like, you can't win just because someone's intuition says this. And that's what we're basing things on. My intuition is saying I'm right. So who's right? Who's the judge? Come in and say, right, guys, Paul's intuition is right, or that other person. It's my intuition is never wrong. Really? Who knows what actually intuition really is? And someone will be blurting out what it is, but can you prove it? It's just something you feel inside. That's why I like to break things down just so basically for me, because it's easier that way. So we have all that stupid hand signal being 666 again, throwing you maybe off a scent. We're in an enclosed system and it's flat. And that's I think that was American Sign Language, because they do have another. I think the other one's like a W for world, which is 2 V's. And it's just like, wow, where'd you go? And that's all I do when I do videos. I just look at it. I'm objective. I know precedent, and I'll say, right, I saw that, and is it that? If it's not, I carry on. But I still show it. I mean, when I showed that dot, and can I just get it on mine so I know what I'm actually doing for once? I'm so professional. So the dot is an origin for which all signs start. Signs, symbols, logos, spells, and it's the uttermost essence. It's everything. With this, the idea that the Masonic lodges of old express the secrecy of the guilds by the means of the dot. And that dot looked like a star. I mean, it could be a circle dot, full stop. But let's just look at it when we go on the internet, www dot. And then even a www, World Wide Web, is all the V's. The chevrons. We're going into space, Star Trek badge is a chevron. They all use the chevrons, because that's the vault. And I just noticed from that, and again, you could use anything, but from that medieval image, the dot was like a star, but also had I noticed the 2 V's, because in Enoch, he talks about him going to, when he's all through hell and heaven, was a cleft, a V-shaped, filled with a fiery sun. So that's what the cleft is. Obviously, people get cleft lips, but it's basically a V-shine. A V-shine? What is a V-shine? V-shine is a V-sign, V-shape. And I'm like, putting that and then that. Obviously, it's a male and female aspect. Interesting. You know what I mean? So then that's why I was talking about Euclid and the 47th problem, because that does astronomy, astrology, everything supposedly comes from that problem. Why name it the 47th problem? Is that for this realm? Because the realm is 11? Is it because the angle of the vault is at 47 degrees? Who knows? Like I said, I haven't got the foggiest. It's just theory. It's just brilliant when you start just to think and not bother what people think. You know what I mean? Because this is where I believe we learn a lot. But again, I've always said it. Are we in a trap? It's a trap! And, you know, we keep learning to basically the ongoing rabbit hole of keeping us occupied so we don't actually look around and see what actually is hidden in plain sight. So when they were doing MVs, also actually it looks like the Masonic square and compass. The old symbol that they used to use before that was Tempus Fugit, the hourglass with the wings. Again, I've done a video called Tempus Fugit. If you remember, I'll put it in the description. And now in that, years ago, I was talking about, are we in the hourglass in the centre, and reset, we just level down and we get covered and so on and so on. So basically, I was talking about an enclosed chamber then, but not really thinking about it. So when we're looking at that Masonic sign, and it's enclosed, you know, as the compass, encompassing, like people are saying in the chat, and underneath the two V's has a G, and people are talking, rightly so, oh, we've been told it's God, we're told it's a generator, like someone have said, and I've showed a video on that being a generator and Grand Architect. So it's all been theorized what that G actually stands for. But it's so funny that I'm talking of an enclosed system and we've been in a cleft, a gouge type of scenario, living in a huge chamber, and me thinking we're living underground automatically thinks of geodes. Could the actual G stand for geode? I mean, we've got geography and being a geode. I mean, these guys are stonemasons, and they separated, this is just my own personal opinion, separated and became free masons, free from the masons, another fraternity. And okay, if they're working with stone, what is stone? It's from the earth, it's in the earth. Geography, you know, geology, geode. And you look at the etymology of geode, GE, meaning, you got it, earth. So they're showing you in the symbol with blue or whatever, it's enclosed, it's a chamber, and it has a G, earth. Wow. You're like, damn, could it be really that? And this at this point, I'm like, let me tell someone. You know what I mean? I'm like, no. Yeah. Tell them. No. You know, it ruins the fun. And I don't know. I've been no good with state secrets or anything because I just get so excited. You know what I mean? And I see people talking about what I'm doing, and I just love to give people an alternative. Again, another theory on what it is. People say, oh well, no, it's a crater Earth. Really? Could it not be this? Does it have to be that? Can a crater not be in an enclosed system? I think so. The liquid crystal theory that I've talked about even longer, because a liquid crystal can have three or four properties: liquid, gas, solid. You know what I mean? And is it sentient? You know, is it sentient? Was it made to confine us, but also have a television property? You know, of seeing things in the sky. It just makes you think, and that's all I ever want. So then when we're talking about geodes and the G, that's what the G is, and then being stonemasons, Enoch says the stars are bound and as large as mountains. What size mountain? And then I got thinking to me, well, it just said the 7 stars. I mean, there's so many stars always been, fallen, but he emphasizes on the 7. Again, why is it a metaphor, or is it actually 7 stars that actually fell? So big, as big as mountains. What mountain? You can have a mountain, as big as your house. Is that a hill? Where is it going? So I just came up to the conclusion 7 is specified 7. So, and then I thought about continents. 7 continents. How many videos and channels talk about giants so big we're living on them, and you see a mountain and it's a face of it, and in the Bible it talks about giants being so many thousand cubits, and that's like 2, 3, 4 miles high, and so on. What does a class as a giant? Is it what we specific, anything from 8, 9 feet, or is it 16, or is it so high? And then you have fee, 5, 4, fum, so giants in beanstalks. But that just got me about 7 mountains, 7 continents. Is each continent a giant? One that big that we're standing on the shoulders of giants. So they've imprisoned them in rock. They've turned them like a Gorgon type of thing. Is it a plasmapheric type of thing? Why do marble statues look so lifelike? They didn't have the tech to do it now. Sometimes we do play down. People were skilled. It's just us that's living in amnesiac and talent's not there. But I do see the point. Some of them, are like, wow. So when I did my old video of monumental cemeteries, and this is ages ago, again, if you don't watch my channel, how many of you have heard about that theory on the breakdown of the word marble? Why, again, if and this is not being egotistical, it's just like, well, if big channels steal information all the time, why don't they steal that and get that message out? Because sometimes people are asking me the other day, why do you not get angry? I don't get angry when people steal my stuff. I'm like, just give people credit. I've come to the conclusion like that. My family mean more, and okay, if they want to steal, I know it's mine, and I can see it in a lot of people's channels. But we do use each other as inspiration. But as if they actually just don't bother taking the logo off and pressing it as their own, which have been done several times. But talking about the marble meaning death. That is, wow. Dead, mortified, spiritually dead. So, spiritually dead of God. Remember, marble, L-E, but, reverse is E-L. Elohim, L, is one of the L's. Spiritually dead. We just talked about the 7 stars being cast out, turned to rock, turned to mountain. Where, marble's in the ground. That's talking about spiritually dead. It makes it wow. So that you have a connection there. Have we been cast out because we have a bloodline from these fallen? Are we sometimes mortified or spiritually dead? Are they NPCs? Completely no soul. Is this soul a part of... Remember, soul was spelled S-O-U-L-E. Again, we're told the Elohim are evil. So we what can we go off? So our soul is a part, and then we're told by science, we're made from stardust. Really? So is this Stardust actually basically talking about we're made from the fallen? Hence why we have power. I'm just asking these questions. Doesn't mean it's fact, guys. But we're capable of so much power. We're born with the vocal cord, the voice of God. Just makes you think. And again, I always say that's what you want. So we're talking about the 7 continents, and then you have the 7 deadly sins. They've been cast out. You have sinned. Could that be where they got inspiration for the 7 deadly sins? If you do those sins, you will be spiritually dead and mortified and cast into Marbel. And then you're looking at other religions and cultures like the Romans, the days of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so on. But day in Latin is dies. That just got me again. I've already mentioned it, but that just got me. Sunday, so we're dying and rebirth each day. Wow. And each day is named after a planet. The 7 planets. Ritualistic, or is it showing you something deep and hidden that none of us have actually known? Because think about it, it says in antiquity and older, people had a bicameral mind. They had a voice in the head. Is that what our thoughts are? Our intuition? Or is it in the actual voices? Voice to skull technology. Again, I've mentioned all this before. So this video is just the beginning, guys, and what's it? People are thinking, what's he going to make? Is he going to show this really model? That's not me. I'm more a theorist. I'm basing on what I see, and I'm trying to put things together. You know what I mean? That way. And a long time ago video that a lot of people like is the Vowel shift, showing you that a period in time, because people will say, oh, we only have resets on so many times because I've proven that. Really? I can show you that's wrong. But again, I'm not here to shit on anyone else's theory. I'm just showing you what I found, and I found that the greatest reset that we've ever had was from 11th, 12th century to the 19th century, called the Great Vowel shift, where everything changed. All the sciences that they're using today, all the spells, the language, everything was created in that period and is used today. And we're talking about a vowel to L, vowel shift. Why make them vowels? Because you're making a vowel to an L, and we're talking about the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. But sometimes it's Y, sometimes it's W. 7, like the 7 heavens, 7 archons. Are we living in each realm of an L? One of the godly divine cast out to create 7 stars. I swear we have a lot of pubs in this country called 7 stars. And it's mad. I mean, they're talking about... So that got me thinking, obviously, together we're in a chamber. And they've been cast out, the 7. And we're in an enclosed system. And then obviously I talked about a geode being GE, and that's the G. And varying crystals, because even also we're full of minerals. Our structure, 65% crystal, adds to 11. And all the 11s with the eyes that I've showed you. And the most abundant element, mineral on Earth that they can't find, we're told is there, is something called Bridgmanite. Name of the guy who found it. I can't remember his name now. Percy Bridge, I think it was something like that. Anyway, the bridge. There's a certain god known as the bridge, and the transitions from A to B is Janus. And this abundant element, in percentage wise, is 38% of this realm. oh no, oh no, another 11. That's just made up. That's nothing. It's nothing. What made me blow my mind was this element is made up of 2 charged elements, 2 charges of L's, and it's held together by a negative charge one. 3, the Trinity. There used to be a faith and a culture called Trinitarians. I've made a video on that a long time ago, because this realm is Janus's. He's the gatekeeper. He's the L. And we're talking about the structure of this Bridgmanite. And you're thinking, well, where is it? Oh, well, it's so far deep down that we can't get hold of it. And we actually found it when it fell from the sky. Oh no! It's like, and then you're talking about meteorites, and there's a meteorite in the press in a minute, isn't it? And it's like the Bennu one. I made a video on that years ago. I don't know if it's on this or on my Black Sheep Research at Odyssey channel. But yeah, you know, considering they say we're in space, spinning around, and meteorites are going, but they always burn up, or they land in the ground completely straight, never, you know. So we have that argument, and you're like, okay, so no one's ever officially died of a meteorite. This one's fell to the earth and it's Bridgmanite, and you theorise because it fell to the earth, it's actually so far down, and that depth adds to 11. Ignore that, and this is what it is, Bridgmanite, and it's the Trinity. So you know what I mean. And it's the bridge like a bifrost, connecting you to another realm, another room, another chamber, like the Nordic has the tree of life. Could that be what it is? We're in chambers underground, and it looks like the tree of life. Who knows? So that really excited me, and especially with that vowel L shift. Again, are these different realms? These 7 continents, is it just a different continent? Again, it said it fell down and it became mountains. It didn't say they were actually in all the same place. So is these mountains, as we're called Earth, and there's so many different names we've had for Earth, haven't we? The chamber, and then so on and so on. Are they different letters of the vowels? I mean, it's funny how the vowels, then the rest of the language, the consonants, sounds like continents, doesn't it? Oh, it's just a play of words. It's phonetically, it's consonants, and you know. So then we're looking at this. It's intriguing, isn't it? And when you have NASA and people say, oh, it's lies in Hebrew, and people go, well, no, it's not. That's actually wrong. But we'll not mention how you've showed NASA in Latin meant a snare, a trap, and you've been showing that for years and years. And again, that doesn't get used. And they're talking about the earth being the blue marble. Again, that ties in to marb, meaning dead, mortified, spiritually dead. What can I say? It's photoshopped because it has to be. You know, so that is the intriguing nature. How high is this chamber? How low is this chamber? Where are the exits out? Where's the gateways, the portals? And that's why I always laugh, because we have the Janus Islands. Is that the doorways to other rooms? Because you have all the hollow earth theory and Agatha. But actually, what if we are in the earth? And then you're thinking, well, what's bloody out there? And that's the thing, isn't it? What is out there? They're just the other rooms. Why are we underground? Why did we go underground? And your mind just goes, okay, I don't know. You know, what happened to just being, you know, living your life, and now we're in a purgatory type of thing. It's just mind blowing. And hopefully, guys, this is just the beginning, and there's loads of places that I'm going to go with it, because I want to progress it. I think I have progressed like the realm of 11 type of thing into something, and I'm ever changing. I want to contradict myself. I want to look at different things. I want to say, it says, oh no, change my mind after a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of years. But if people get triggered on this, that's your problem. You've got to take a step back and say, why am I getting triggered? Oh, because people in my community say we're this. Have you never thought, I've always been this. When I've been in certain communities, I thought, you know what, when the opposition, so-called opposition, you're trolling you, and you're like, that is a valid point though. You know, I can say, you know, and that's what I've always done. I've never gone, troll, idiots, it's this. And you were told. So when you come into a new theory, everyone always gravitates. Don't say gravity! You know what I mean? And, right, where can I get more information, guys? Well, he or she is a standard bearer. Go and see what they say. So you get all your information off them, and then after a while, whatever period it is, your intuition kicks in, and you're like, really, they don't sound, or they're not giving information. They're copying it from them. Them have nicked it from them. It's not really they're in it just for the money. Blah blah blah. And this is what it is. And then you move, and then you gravitate to something, and we're always gravitating to something. Because our intuition says, no, that something's not right. Go to there. And then we base all our theories on this. So when I've started this, I'm just going off the information that could we be in a chamber. The celestial breakdown says we're in a chamber from the host. You know, are we hosts then? Because when I said the host in regard to the stars, that's why in the back of my mind, I had the serpent, because people are talking about serpent seed, and is our skeleton holding something inside as a prison, a vessel. We've got maritime law, we've got told that we're dead entities, you know what I mean, and we're in a world of death. We're in a burial chamber. But I want to live. And people are telling you, oh, don't go into the light, don't go into the dark. We're always told. And we won't know till we get to that situation. Are we reincarnated back and so on and so on? We just don't know. But when you tie everything together and you see all the things based on rock and stone, like I said in a live chat, Jesus is known as a living stone, and so are we. Stone. We're in a geode. We're in earth, inner earth, hollow earth. But in the hollow earth, obviously, we're flat, because, you know, the base is flat. And then you people are arguing, oh no, this and that, and that's what you get. You get people just getting triggered. But sometimes triggered means good, because you know you're showing people a different perspective. And I know I'll get flat for this, but I know also people will say, I can see where you're coming from. I don't get it, and I don't see it, but I respect the information that you've shown, and that's all it is. It's information. I found this information, thought, doesn't that celestial talk about being in a chamber? Okay, if we're in a chamber, people talk cosmic eggs, serpent around the egg. Some people are talking about this, flat, concave, convex, and it all seems to fit. Crater. And we're always using the so-called standard bearers in that theory and channel as proof, and we shouldn't. We should just use it as information to base whatever you believe this realm is. And all my videos, celestial one, the atmospheric memory, the breakdown of toroidal, again it's talking about doorways and a void and something godly and divine. And we're in a deep pit, a chamber, a cleft. So on that bombshell, oh my god, I've nearly done an hour just gabbing. You bad for me, guys. So guys, I will see you in the chat. I'll see you in the description. Again, this is just the beginning. Don't worry, I want to be revisiting it. I'll be adding to it. I'll be theorising other stuff. This is just a start. Even though it's long, it's just an intro for me. It's just to get the ball rolling. the chamber rolling. Go and take your lover to the married marital chamber. The chamber, your bedroom. So take care, guys. Always want to smile. Please hit the like, share and subscribe. And if you want to donate, want to buy me a coffee, that helps me, please do that. Again, thank you for the support. Thank you for the wishes for my daughter. It really means a lot. So stay safe. Always want to smile. Don't let the bar stools grind us down. And I'll see you in the chat. Bye-bye.